All right, people. So I want to talk a little bit about the fighter mentality. And particularly, I want to talk to you guys. I am what you need about situations where we as spectators, we as the audience, we're looking at a fighter getting his ass kicked, but we don't really necessarily look at the mentality of the fighter who's getting his ass kicked. Are they caving in? Are they giving in? And if you look at the real fighters out here, they're just as game. There's no giving in with them. They keep coming. Their bodies might be breaking down, but they keep coming. And we've seen it now with three separate fights. We saw it with Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, where Nate Diaz came on strong in the latter half of his fight with Jake Paul. As we know, Nate Diaz is a tough, tough guy. And one of the things, a lot of people always say, you need to see a fighter lose to know if they got heart. It's not heart. It's toughness y'all guys are talking about. If they tough and they still bring in the heat, regardless of if they're getting outmatched or outgunned. But the other thing I think that's interesting is almost a lot of fighters have this within them, and the mentality is different to the mentality of you and I. We're thinking damage, oh my, he can't fight again, blah, 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 blah. While the fighter in a fight with all that adrenaline and everything, they not thinking that. They thinking, how can I get this guy? How can I get him back? And stuff like that. So like the mentality of a fighter, a real fighter that is totally different to the mentality of a civilian or a person who does not fight. All right. And you either have it or you don't have it, especially when you're getting your tail beat up. Are you going to quit? Are you going to not come back? There's a lot of guys that didn't come back to the gym, right? There's a lot of guys that don't have that mentality, that warrior mentality, that I'm gonna fight through everything. I don't care if the guy's out matching me, outgun. I'm gonna fight, and you never know. I might catch him with something. You know what I'm saying? In fact, they don't even think like that. I'm like, I'm gonna get you back. You know what I mean? And especially in your early days of boxing and learning the sport, you get your ass kicked a lot. All right. And a lot of times people never seen this side of fighters, but fighters get their ass kicked a lot. Some of the greatest fighters, Vince Phillips, who beat Costa Zoo, was getting his ass kicked in the gym a lot. There's stories about him. But he showed up on fight night, you know what I mean? So there's a lot to boxing that a lot of people don't know and understand. And that's why training camps can be very, very, a lot of wear and tear on the bodies. Because sometimes you get dropped, sometimes you get beat up. Drop don't mean you get a concussion. Sometimes you get, flash knockdowns. All kinds of things happen in sparring. But that's what makes fighters tough. And most fighters have heart. Most fighters are tough. Most fighters will fight through anything. It doesn't matter if they winning or losing. They're going to put up a fight. And in the case of Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul that we saw that mentality in Nate Diaz. He was taking some flush shots and he wouldn't go nowhere. And he was in front. He was present with Jake Paul whole night, pressuring Jake Paul, bringing the fight to him. And he actually came on strong in the latter half of the fight. He was hitting him with, pity-pat punches at first, but then he started putting leverage into the uppercuts and the hooks and everything. And he started really whipping the shots. And he hurt Jake later on in the fight. You know what I'm saying? This is Jake Paul dropping Nate Diaz. I believe it was in the 7th round, somewhere there, in one of the middle rounds. Amanda Serrano versus Heather Hardy. Amanda Serrano hit Heather Hardy with a kitchen sink. They wanted the doctor wanted to stop. They paused. The referee wanted to stop the fight a number of times because Heather Hardy looked like she was taking a lot of damage, just mostly superficial damage. And Heather Hardy didn't want to stop the fight at all. In fact, at a certain point, she gloved Amanda Serrano's glove, saying, "Hell no, let's get it on, baby. Let's get it on." It was for the undisputed featherweight championship of the world, so she was totally game. I mean, she was bringing the heat, even though she was getting hit a lot in that fight. She was bringing the heat, and she was getting her shots in as well. I noticed. She was working the southpaw, she was getting some body shots in. Couple hooks to the head and stuff like that. But she was outgunned. She was outmatched. She was even outpowered. But man, she was game from round 1 all the way down to round 12. I mean, she was game. Totally game. She was in the fight. There was no flinching. These are the most dangerous fighters. because you could be beating their ass and they just looking for one opportunity. They're not looking for one special punch. They still gonna throw their punches, but they looking for the opportunity for you to fade or you to, they're the toughest fighters actually to face. They make for the toughest fights. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. At no point in time did I see Errol Spence's mentality change. He had no quit in him, even when he was rocked really bad and the referee stopped the fight in the, I believe it was the ninth round. There was no quit in the guy. Like the guy just kept coming. He kept bringing the heat. His mentality, even now, I mean, he got nothing to regret. He had nothing to worry about because his mentality is there. I'm going to get you, you know. And he was weathering the storm. And I want to just say to fighters and boxers, people like that, you might be getting your ass kicked, right? The guy might be better timing. He might be outgunning you, landing more shots than you, and all of that. But it's the mentality, it's the attitude that makes the difference. Are you just a results-oriented fighter that if you're winning the fight, you're okay, but once you're losing the fight, all of a sudden you quit, you break down, you fade. And this is just, I think this is symptomatic of life in general. Life in general. Are you going to fight or are you going to quit? Are you going to fold? Or are you going to quit? And guys like this, I've seen it with soldiers. I've seen it with law enforcement people, defense people, security people. I've seen it with fighters, whether you're in the cage or you're in, there's a certain mentality that goes with it. A mentality, you gotta kill me, man. You gotta kill me to stop me. You're not stopping me. You know what I mean? And that mentality is admirable. You might be outgunned, you might be outskilled, you may be outsmarted, but you still not stopping me. And I'm gonna bring the heat, I'm gonna bring the pain. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen boxers talk about that. And you would be surprised. That alone sometimes wins a guy a fight because I've seen Kevin Kelly outbox Alexandro, right? I forgot what his first name was. And I saw Alexandro come back and knock out and stop Kevin Kelly. He was taking some punishment, but he kept on bringing the heat. And Kevin Kelly, he started to tire, and that was it. Jake Paul started to tire. He was trying to get Nate Diaz out of there. Nate Diaz, got to Jake Paul and was beating him up in the final rounds of the fight. So, Nate was able to give a good account of himself. He had decent defense, by the way, too, rolling the shots and stuff. But my point being that the mentality of fighters, the mentality of a real fighter is different to you and I. I hear a lot of people talking about Errol Spence. You need to go to the doctor. You need to check for neurological problems. Those are superficial flesh wounds, man. His face was fine the next day. Okay. Did his brain swallow or anything like? I don't think so. I think he a tough dude. The guy he flew out of a car going at 90 something plus miles an hour. Okay. Guy's grateful to God. Of course, you don't want to take too much punishment, but he was made to take punishment. At the same time, that's not his mentality. His mentality is, I'm going to go in there and work. Okay? I'm going to put in my work. And he put in his work against Terrence Crawford. He came up short. Terrence Crawford was able to pick him apart. He made no excuses. That's what I admire about Errol Spence. He makes no excuses. You know what I mean? There's so many admirable qualities in both guys. And Errol really allowed me to really feel like, yeah, this guy's a stand-up dude. This guy's for real. You know what I mean? I'm still looking forward to the rematch at 154 this year. I think Errol is going to make a much greater account of himself. I'm sure they're going to go back to the drawing board, do what they got to do. And who knows what could happen, right? I can't really predict. Sometimes a fight, one guy's outclassed because he's a step behind. He's a step behind the other guy. And all you got to be is a step behind the other guy. You just have to be not at your best like that. And the fight turns. And I think that's what we saw with Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. I'm going to be real with y'all. That didn't look like Errol, right? And I know Terrence has a lot to do with it, but I think also So it didn't look like Arrow, period. Like Arrow, if you go and you watch other fights with Arrow, you'll see Arrow snaps back out of the shot rather quickly. He's sharper. And Arrow's punches didn't have that snap and that power behind it like he normally has, you know. So I believe those two things are big factors with Arrow. Arrow's all about timing. Arrow's all about coming off of angles and stuff like that when he's attacking a fight. He's intelligent fighting on the front foot. So we're going to see. The rematch will be different. Will the outcome be the same? Probably. But you never know. You just never know in this life. We will see. Right? If he does his homework, it should be a good fight. But what I'm saying is the mentality of fighters. This is all I wanted to share with you guys this morning. I also want to share with you guys a piece of scripture that kind of speaks to that, you know, because me being a Christian, we fight a battle all the time. We got to fight a battle against ourselves. We fight a battle against, negative tendencies, stuff like that. So I just want to share with you guys a piece of scripture here, man, because, I'm a scripture boy and I'm out of here after this. Yeah. Yo. I gotta find it's the armor of God. I think it's found in Ephesians. Oh, okay. So internet's coming and going probably. Yeah. Oh, we still live. Okay, cool. We 12 minutes in, we're live. If you want to leave comments as well, that's cool. In my description section of this video. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what's up. Like the internet's coming and going? Or what? I'm not even sure what's going on. Okay, we still there. Okay. So what's up? Yo, somebody, Mystic Max says Bruce Lee defends Crawford. JKD is greater than boxing. Jake Paul, I guess. Oh, JKD. I don't know who's JKD. I just saw somebody left a comment. I'm not seeing any comments, people. All right, I can't remember exactly where it is, but it goes like this. Put on the whole armor of God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Put on the shield of faith. All right? So basically, you arm yourself up. And it's a mental thing. It's not a physical thing, The battles that we have in life are mental things. You know what I mean? I just saw the comments section. Let me see if I can get it back here. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't find it. I don't even know what that's about. Yo, I'm trying to get the stuff here. Well, I saw some comments. You guys had some comments on there. I'm just trying to find out how to get the comments in the comment section, but I don't know, people. Okay, my stream was paused for a minute. I seem to have internet. Internet seems to be. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I know my internet was coming and going. Anyway, 15 minutes in, I can't see the other comments for some reason. I just tried to get the comments and they just disappeared on me. And I don't seem to have any other way of seeing these things. So anyways, let me move out of that. So yeah, this was Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz right here. Yeah. And Nate Diaz came on strong later on. You see, we got Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford here. Terrence Crawford, man, was doing a number on Errol, tagging him left, right, and center. I mean, and then we have Heather Hardy versus Amanda Serrano. This is the actual fight right here. Bad left hook shows it there. This is it again. That's on YouTube. DAZN gave the highlights. This is them at the end of the fight here. Yeah, this is the second fight they've had. This was for Undisputed. Here it is again. Heather Hardy popping that jab right out there. So yeah, people, that's basically it for. I'm gonna catch you guys later on What You Need. Peace to you all. I'm out.